Greg Jennings and Doug Gottlieb in for Whitlock and Wiley. Mark Schlereth and Jason McIntyre back. Let's move to Denver, where the Broncos moved from head coach Vance Joseph yesterday after finishing with a losing record for the second straight year. Denver has been in the weeds since winning the Super Bowl in 2015, and yesterday John Elway took some responsibility for their struggles, especially his failure to find a franchise QB.
Well, I'm going to go shake some trees out there for the quarterback. See if one falls out. But, Case is our quarterback right now. And, he's, we got to do a better job supporting him, too. I mean, Case, did a nice job this year. Obviously, he'll tell you the same thing. He could have played better. But we're always looking for that guy.
Doug, I asked you, does John Elway get a pass?
By the way, that's not exactly a resounding statement of support for your quarterback.
No, not at all.
First he said right now, then he said shake the trees. Other words, like, hey, if you know of one, let me know.
And he started backing it up.
Slide into my DMs. We may be interested.
Does he get a pass for the Broncos struggle?
No, I mean, I think, look, I don't think he gets a pass. On the other hand, you also have to understand they went to 2 Super Bowls. He should get credit there. So they swung and missed on Paxton Lynch, swung and missed previous to that on Brock Osweiler, which, I don't know, he took his son's word for it because they were roommates at Arizona State, I guess, right? So missing at quarterback makes it look worse. And I think I understood their philosophy, which was, hey, if we're honest with ourselves, they win a Super Bowl in 2015, and they did it, Peyton Manning, they were basically dragging Peyton Manning's dead football body behind them, right? I mean, he was awful that last year. 9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. They actually pulled him, and then he got his spot back. And they thought to themselves, look, if we're just adequate at quarterback, we're good enough defensively. But then they become highly leveraged defensively when all that money goes to one position, right? And now all of a sudden that kind of breaks apart. So do I think he gets a pass? No, but he also gets credit for building like a consistent winner. They're caught in that middle where they don't have a quarterback. They got all kinds of other issues. And frankly, their 2 big wins over the Chargers and over the Steelers, which kept the Chargers from the #1 seed, which kept the Steelers out of the playoffs. They should have lost those games. They would have had the #1 pick, and they would have been much further along their path of rebuilding. So does he get a pass? No, but he's also earned the right to kind of work it out considering what he built before the collapse of this franchise.
He definitely gets a pass. He definitely gets a pass. 5 Super Bowl appearances himself within that same organization, 2 Super Bowl wins, and you bring in Peyton Manning, who I feel like any general manager could have brought in Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning actually selected the Denver Broncos because he thought that was a better situation. But let's look. You mentioned 2 of the quarterbacks in Brock Osweiler and Paxton Lynch. Let's look at their record since Peyton Manning has left. 20-28. Trevor Siemian, Case Keenum, Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler. These are guys that John Elway are responsible for. These are his guys. This is what he's done. This is the lack of production that he's had at that position. We heard him just now say, I got to go out there and shake the trees and see if I can find a quarterback. That right there, and then you move over into that Case Keenum, as you mentioned, like you don't have confidence in Case Keenum. Yeah, you know you need to put some help. You need to help out Case Keenum, but you need to help out your team and get a quarterback in here that can run this organization.
Well, let me just say that the shake the trees comment was him being snarky to the local media. I live in Denver, and he's like, you think it's easy? Let me go shake a tree and see if a quarterback falls out. So that's him saying, listen, there's a lot to choose from, people, okay? So there's not a lot of opportunity out there to just go find yourself a quarterback. Now, he has made a mistake, Paxton Lynch, no question. I think John's biggest issue is his competitiveness and his unwillingness to understand that we're rebuilding. We're not retooling. We're not 1 player away from fixing this thing. That's his biggest issue. One of the issues in getting Peyton Manning, and you got to give him a ton of credit for that, he got Peyton Manning. You know what happened to the Broncos? They became a destination spot because Peyton Manning was there. Right. Peyton Manning instantly changed the culture of the organization, and then Aqib Talib and other players like that wanted to come play there because they knew it was going to give them a chance to win a championship because of Peyton Manning. So once Peyton Manning was there were a lot of things that slipped through the cracks as far as the draft is concerned, and you had a bunch of bad drafts in a row. Last year, great draft. But his biggest issue is his competitiveness. So he is unwilling to admit that we're in a rebuilding phase. You have to admit that you're in a rebuilding phase. And I would say this, the number one valued asset on your team is Von Miller. You need to trade him.
Yeah.
You need to get rid of him. You need to strip it down and admit we're in trouble. We need draft capital. We need to find a quarterback of the future. We don't have a tight end on this roster. We don't have a number one receiver on this roster. Our offensive line stinks. We have got issues beyond issues all over the place. And until we actually come to the realization, guys, this is Denver, and I know we don't have back-to-back losing seasons. First time in 40 years we did. But we're rebuilding, and our roster isn't good enough.
So Mark, this is tremendous. I'm listening to you say all this. It sounds great. And the first team that came to my head was the Oakland Raiders in their division. Similar situation, right? Totally rebuilding. They did have the quarterback. They traded Khalil Mack. I think you're onto something with the Von Miller. And let me add this real quick. Like, we've mentioned that Elway screwed up with the quarterbacks. Could we add the Vance Joseph was a total debacle, and that was on his watch? That was a terrible hire, set them back further. And last point on the media, Mark, I know you're a Denver guy. You know, Elway strolls up to the podium. He's got the 2 buttons done. He's cool. He's rugged. You know, he's a legend. He's a folk hero in Denver. Guy's got 2 Super Bowl wins as a quarterback. Of course, he won one here with Peyton. And nobody's going to challenge him. They're not in Denver. Those guys will eat out of his hand. Whatever he says, they're going to just lap up. I think Elway's he's safe there, obviously, but I do think he controls the media in Denver.
Does he control the media in Denver?
Well, I think that you see just from that clip that the pressure is on, and he hears it loud and clear. And there have been in the Denver media, there have been a lot of challenges. And you know, my radio station, one of the guys that works on my radio station, D-Mac in the afternoon, Darren McKee, boy, John has gone after him in a press conference. So, you know, you can tell that there is some tension that has brewed there.
Which is kind of my point, which is I don't think he's actually getting the pass that we believe he's getting. We're discussing it here. They're discussing it there. But he has earned enough equity with the previous success.
I would agree with that.
To get him another year or two. Plus, they got an ownership issue.
All right, coming up, Baker Mayfield set a rookie record this year, but Lamar Jackson led his team to the playoffs. We'll tell you who had a better rookie year. That's next.